Hey everyone, welcome back to Kali Plants. Me again, Mark. Today is a very sunny, very kind of cloudy day here at the greenhouse, and we're gonna be highlighting some of my succulents again. In this video, we're gonna be talking about my Graptopetalum hybrids. In our recent plant hauls, I managed to get my hands on some new varieties of Graptoverias, and some of these I want to show to you, to highlight to you how I'm caring for them, what they're looking like right now. And also, I will be featuring some of my older succulents as well that I think that would look really nice because they've done so well in the past few weeks and past few months here in my care. So now let's just start with the oldest one, the oldest Graptoveria that I will be highlighting in this video. And I wanted to highlight it because it's done so well in the past few weeks. Okay, you can see here, this is my Graptoveria Phantom. Okay, this is what other sellers are selling as Lovely Rose Hybrid, and I can say that this has grown really nice. Look at this pup. Look at this, the size of this pup. Really large, really adorable. And yeah, and look at the size of this rosette, really grown large. And I don't know if these are pups or if these are flower stalks that will be coming out. Okay, but it's done really well, and I place it in my rain or shine location because if you've been following the channel, then you know that I've been buying a lot of succulents recently because I see a lot of these expensive varieties that have gone cheaper and I want to buy them. And yeah, my greenhouse is already loaded and packed, and I wanted to put some of my succulents here, and so I brought some of my succulents outside. And this Graptoveria has done so well in the rain or shine location that I have on the outside. You can see it's grown really nice. It has this really large rosette, and I think I'm going to be propagating it. Will be removing some of the leaves from under it and then propagate it later. I have propagated my Lovely Rose, but because we only have 10 Graptoverias in this list, I'm not going to be featuring that one, but that one also has done really well in my rain or shine location. So if that's one option that you can do with your succulents in your area, if you can grow them in a rain or shine location, I would recommend it particularly for Graptoverias because you can see how well they do in rain or shine location. Even if the potting mix on this one doesn't have a lot of organic materials, it has done so well because of the rain that constantly pours on the plant. It makes the plant grow much more quickly. Now I just have some qualms about rain or shine plants because some of my succulents outside are getting like ants all over them, and I'm having more of that problem during this summer season. So yeah, you're gonna have to be mindful of that. Gonna watch over if your succulents are getting infested because sometimes ants will bring mealybugs. I think I'm gonna be trying out some way to get rid of the ants, but I really didn't want to poison a lot of insects here in my area with insecticide because that will be damaging to the ecosystem. So yeah, if they're not putting mealybugs on my plants, I'm not bothering with them, these ants that are living in the pots of my rain or shine succulents. So they don't bother me and I don't bother them, these ants. Okay, so now let's move on to the next ones, and I think I'm gonna start with the older one as well because these ones you've already seen. We're gonna go with the more rarer ones at the end of this video. This is Echeveria, no, not Echeveria, Graptoveria Bridget. And yeah, you can see that really nice pinkish type of succulent, pinkish greenish type of Graptoveria. When I bought this, it didn't have this like lines, like margins on it that kind of remind you of Echeveria apus. It doesn't have that, so you will find Graptoveria Bridget without that. So I think it only appeared here in my care because I've been putting it into a lot of stress with the bright direct sun that it's been getting and the lack of consistent water that I've been giving the plant, because this one didn't perform really well in the first weeks that I've had it in. So I've been neglecting it more, but you can see that because of that neglect, the plant has gotten really compact. It doesn't etiolate very much. Okay, and yeah, it's been planted in this container. I'm not sure about the potting mix that it's in. Probably I will uppot it, or probably I will replace the potting mix because the plant hasn't been growing that quickly for me, but I think that it has done nice. It has done nicely. It has thick farina and it's staying compact. So sometimes succulents will be like that. They will stay compact, they will still grow, but they will not grow to the like full extent that they will go, probably because of the potting mix that it's in. you added a lot of pumice into its potting mix, so that's why the plant is getting bonsai. So if you're a seller type of grower, if you're going to be selling your plants, I would recommend you add more organic materials to your potting mixes so that your plants can grow a little more and you can propagate them later. But if you're one who are growing like in a very compact location, if you don't have a lot of space and you're just growing privately, then I would recommend you add some pumice to your potting mix. That way your succulents will not etiolate very quickly, will stay compact, and you can neglect it more. So with that added pumice, the plant will be dehydrated for a longer time if you don't water it very often. So that will contribute to the stress colors and the much more compact growth of the succulent. So I would recommend that particularly with Graptoverias because they're not that sensitive of a succulent. They're very easy to grow, and I think I will be titling this video as the easiest succulents to grow because they're very easy. Graptopetalums and Graptoverias in general, even if you neglect it, they won't desiccate very much. They might desiccate a little bit, but once you water them, they will plump back up again. They're very fast rooters as well, and they can handle a lot more variety when it comes to their potting mix. They're not that meticulous when it comes to their potting mixes. So I've tried a lot of different potting mixes on my Graptoverias, and most of the time they're just doing well. And sometimes if they're not doing well, I will change, but that rarely happens. But yeah, there are some much more sensitive varieties of Graptoverias, and I think let's just go on with a more sensitive one. This one, I've managed to like resurrect this from the dead because I've had this as a larger succulent, and yeah, I planted it in a bad potting mix, and that's my fault. Okay, and this is Graptoveria Debbie. You can see that this is a purplish pinkish type of Graptoveria, and I really wanted this plant for a very long time, but I haven't had success with it on my previous attempts, and this one is probably as much success as I can get with the plant. Probably I will get more success on this one later on. I'm not sure if this is the Debbie or if this is the Cupid. Okay, but there is another hybrid of Graptoveria Debbie that is being sold as Cupid, or the lilac spoons, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, and I think this is the Cupid, but kind of like looks like it's a Debbie right now. Okay, and you can see the potting mix is just rolling over because I changed its potting mix recently. I added more pumice into its potting mix because it was in a very organic heavy potting mix and it wasn't doing that well. So sometimes your plant will do that. They will desiccate, they will shrink. But Graptoverias generally, they can survive out of that if you can manage to catch up to them, if they don't like degrade very quickly, if they still have some size, if they still have some leaves to them, you can rescue them later on. So that's what I really like with these Graptoverias, and that is our Graptoveria Debbie or Cupid, I'm not sure. Okay, the next one that I also had struggles with previously, and I've had this plant like a very long time ago, and I didn't buy it for the longest time because I've had struggles with it. The last time that I had it, I wasn't very successful with trying to grow it. But right now, I think I'm having a lot more success with my succulents. So I bought another one, and this is our Graptoveria Amethorum, and you can see that it's really nice looking Graptoveria. This one is very stressed right now on my care because I have been neglecting it. I haven't been watering it too much, and yeah, I added some organic materials to its potting mix, so hopefully it can get better. But yeah, this one still looks like it's shrunken down. Okay, you can see that really nice stress colors, but it doesn't look very good because it's shrunken. It hasn't plumped up very nicely. It's still shrunken. You can see the leaves have some wrinkling. So yeah, if it persists for a very long time, if the plant is really not rooting, I will probably replace the potting mix with something that's much more fast draining because this one has a lot of organic materials. So probably yeah, I will just be observing this one for now, but you can see the new growth on the center of the rosette. We have some green new leaves coming up, so that means probably the plant is establishing. That's usually a sign of establishing on succulents if they are producing new growth at the center. Yes, so we have that Graptoveria Amethorum. This is a Graptopetalum cross with an Echeveria purpusorum. So probably an Amethysinum cross with a purpusorum. So we have that. Okay, and the next one that we have, I've had success with this for the longest time, and I want to highlight it again because it has grown really nicely. This is our Graptoveria Baynes or Albert Baynes. Really nice look to that, and I've been neglecting it a lot. I haven't been watering this one too much, and yeah, I've been waiting for the leaves to really shrunk to really shrink, to really wrinkle like that before I water it. And this one is still kind of wet right now, really. And so you can see with that type of stress growing, neglecting it, and if you're not watering it too much, then that means the plant is getting stressed. You can see much more brighter colors on the plant. And you can see with this one, it has got really thick farina, and also it's getting that pinkish, like orangey tones on the side of the leaves, especially on the older leaves. It's got that pinkish orangey colors, and yeah, it's much more green on the inside, but you have some nice like pinkish colors to it as well because of the stress care that I've been giving it. So yeah, you can try that on your Graptoveria Baynes, or you can water it often so that the plant will grow a little more. But really what I've been trying with these Graptoverias, I haven't been watering them too much because I want them to stay compact. Yes. So this one, I have been trying to make it compact, and it's not drying out very quickly because the potting mix is large. Yeah, but later on, probably once it grows a little more, I will be propagating this Albert Baynes. Probably I will be beheading it since it already has a nice long stem at the bottom right there. Okay, another one that is, this is an older plant of mine. Okay, I've had this for several like months, but it hasn't performed a lot. Hasn't performed very well because it was in a bad potting mix. I always blame the potting mix. But yeah, when I rescued this plant, when I uprooted it, it doesn't have a lot of roots. So yeah, that's a problem with your potting mix. And you can already probably tell that not all my succulents have the same potting mix because I go through different stages of changing my potting mixes. So sometimes some succulents will have a good potting mix, and sometimes my older succulents will stay in their old bad potting mix, and I will still wait for the plant to, I will be observing it before I repot it right away, so that I know if the plant is really struggling in their old potting mix. So once I'm sure that they're struggling, I will be repotting them, and oftentimes when I repot them from their old potting mix, I will lift them up out of their pots and they will have almost zero roots underneath them. So that means the plant is not doing well, and usually if you let that persist for a very long time, the plant will get rot over time. So yeah, I will really recommend that if you don't see any changes in your plants, just repot them, change their potting mix, because sometimes they will need that change so that they can produce new roots. And that's what I think that's what happened with this one. This is Graptoveria Mrs. Richards. I've had it for the longest time, and it wasn't doing well back then. And yes, as I said before, it doesn't have a lot of roots, but now I repotted it to a nice almost compost type of potting mix, and yeah, so far it's done really nicely. When I water it, it plumps back up, it becomes firm. Yeah, and you can see the rosette on that, really nice, with its kind of like thin leaf, but I know the leaves on this one can get much more thicker. So yeah, we have that, and we have also some nice stripes to the leaves, like they're kind of like mutated, and I think that's unique with the Graptoveria Mrs. Richards. This is not the Purple Delight, that is a different succulent. Somebody already corrected me on that, so that's a very different succulent. So this one has my kind of like stripes on the leaves. Yeah, and I've seen this one, the same thing with the Graptoveria Mrs. Richards variegata. It also has nice stripes to the leaves on top of it. So yeah, that's just unique to the succulent. Really nice type of Graptoveria, and I think that this can still get wider. Okay, it's just staying compact right now because it's still adjusting, but once it establishes really nicely, I hope that this plant can get much more wider. And I know the rosettes on this one can get wider, and we have a new pop at the bottom right there, and I'm looking at it, and yeah, we probably have some mealybug issues on it, because sometimes if you neglect the succulent, it has some mealybugs. Yeah, but I'm looking at it, and so far there isn't any mealybugs, just some dirt on the plant. Okay, so we have that. Okay, so now let's go on to the next, and this one is another, the last ones that I will be showing to you are all new purchases. Okay, so this next one is a common one, and yeah, I've been seeing it, and yeah, I finally tried it. This is a Graptoveria Marpin. Okay, I avoided this for the longest time because I thought that it was the same with the Phantom that I have, but it's very different. The Marpin is also called Pretty in Pink because it's a pink succulent. The Phantom is not so much pink. Okay, this is the Phantom, and this is the Marpin. Okay, so it kind of looks the same, right? Like if you're not a very meticulous grower of succulents, you wouldn't know that they have difference, but they're actually very different. The Marpin is much more compact than the Phantom. Phantom has much more wider, longer leaves, while the Marpin has much more stouter leaves, though they have the same like pointed triangular shape to them. Yeah, but the Marpin is a much more compact grower than the Phantom. It's much more smaller in rosette than the Phantom. The Phantom grows these large rosettes with large leaves. The Marpin grows this much more smaller rosettes that has much more compact, smaller leaves. And this one has a pinkish farina to it at the top. And I know that if you just manage to stress it out and if you don't touch the plant often, those farina, those pinkish farina will just be much more prominent and be much more beautiful. And I've seen like the Marpin from Mr. Charlie's YouTube channel, Desert Succulent, and he featured this one in his like recently arrangement under grow lights. He planted his Marpin there, and I saw that his Marpin grew a lot when he placed it in a rain or shine location. So yeah, that's probably something I will try later on once I establish my Graptoveria Marpin, and I am hoping that we can just get a much more bigger plant out of this, because I already have a lot of my Graptopetalums in my rain or shine location, and they have done so well, like my Graptopetalum Ellen, Purple Delight, Super Bomb, Mendoza, Mirine, all of them are in rain or shine locations. So yeah, once I'm sure that this plant is established, I will just put it in my rain or shine location. And that's why I'm saying that they're one of the easiest succulents to grow, because they just root up very nicely, and once you water them, they will absorb the water. And if you put them in a rain or shine location, they will just keep on growing. And I don't think, yeah, I think I've had some issues with rotting, but it's nothing major. Yeah, I've had issues with rotting probably with Graptopetalums before, but it's not major. Or probably with the Amethystinum. That's the only Graptopetalum that I've had struggles with. I will show you my Amethystinum right now. It's not looking good. The largest head on this one got rot. And yeah, when I checked the potting mix, it also didn't have a lot of roots. So this one is the only Graptopetalum that I've had struggles with the most. Okay, so I'm really careful. The largest head on this one got rot, and it was already too much to save. I can't save it anymore, so I just removed the leaves hoping to propagate them. And this is the only stems, these are the only stems that have remained on the plant, and hopefully I can make it grow still. Yeah, so that's the only problem that I have with Graptopetalums Amethystinum. But so far with all these other varieties, especially ones that doesn't have very thick leaves, like if they're kind of like on the more medium-sized leaves, they're not that thick, then they're not that very prone to rotting either. So only with the Amethystinum, probably because I've been looking at that plant too much. Okay, I've been giving it too much attention, so which is why it died. Probably I overwatered it. Okay, so we have that. And now let's move on to the next. This one is my new Graptoveria Margaret Reppin. Okay, so we have this, and I really like this one because it's a very compact Graptoveria. Kind of looks like an Echeveria, doesn't it? Okay, look at that. It's very compact, and you can see the rosette on that, really tight, and we have some nice pointed leaves. And if you look at the leaves up close, they have these light colored margins that are really nice. Looks like the plant is glowing, and that is kind of normal feature of a lot of succulents to have like light edged margins, like with this one. Okay, it has those nice lighter colored edges, and that is prominent with this one as well, the Margaret Reppin. Yeah, and really like this one. It has compact growth and pointed leaves, and sometimes you just want to have that like faster growth that comes from a Graptopetalum, but also that compact shape that is like really much more prominent on Echeverias, because a lot of Graptopetalums, they will have faster growth, but they won't have that compact shape. So if you find a succulent that is faster growing but is still very compact, so that's really nice to know, because sometimes you will have less space to grow large succulents, or if you don't want a succulent that etiolates very quickly. For example, if you have less light in your location, if you don't want a succulent that will like etiolate too much, then I would recommend these much more compact varieties like this one, this Graptoveria Margaret Reppin. And it also has that resilience that is true with most Graptopetalums, because some Echeverias, especially the compact style Echeverias, they will be very finicky. They will get rot very quickly, especially if they're small size, so you have to be mindful of that. But with Graptopetalum hybrids, they're much more resilient with watering. You don't have to bother with them, and they won't desiccate either if you neglect them for a few times, for some weeks. Even without water, they will still survive. So that is true with a lot of Graptopetalums. Okay, so we have that Margaret Reppin. Okay, There's probably a variegated version of this somewhere, but yeah, that's one Graptopetalum you can add, or Graptoveria you can add to your collection. Okay, the next one, the thing that I have been confused with, I've been having a lot of confusion with because it looked like the other plant that I bought along with it. It looked like the Echevera rubidona, but this is Graptopetalum Opalina, and I'm just guessing right now if this is the Opalina because a commenter told me that Opalinas grow much more quickly than the Echevera rubidona. So if you're that commenter, thanks a lot. Okay, so yeah, this one grew much more quicker than the other one. So I think that this is the Graptoveria Opalina and not the other one, which is still staying small right now. But they're planted at the same time, and I've given them the same watering. So when I water the other one, I water this one as well. I give them the same exact watering, and this one has grown much more bigger compared to that. And I think this is the Opalina. You can see this one is not a very compact type of succulent, probably because I have been, yeah, but I think that's not an excuse anymore because all my succulents receive the same amount of sunlight, but this one has gotten longer, and you can see the leaves on this one are much more longer. They're not very tight, and you can see the rosette on that one. Okay, they're kind of loose. The leaves are far away from each other. They're not that compact yet, probably because when I bought it, it was already etiolated. So I will probably wait for it to develop a little more before I can see much more compact growth on this one. So yeah, probably I will not water this one frequently as well. So this one and the rubidon, I haven't been watering very frequently. I've been really waiting for the leaves to get flappy. This one is still firm really. So once they get flappy, then I will water them. But if they're not flappy yet, I will not water them. So yeah, we have that Graptoperia Opalina. I think the plant moved. Okay, so yeah, it's still not fully established, so I will have to wait for that to establish. But this one is really nice. It has thick leaves and it has pinkish colors. And because I think this one is much more mature, I think that it will handle some watering. This one has much more thicker stems than other Graptopetalums. So yeah, if you manage to find an Opalina that is cheap, even if it's not that large, even if it's just a medium-sized one, you can probably get it and you will have a lot of success with it. I would recommend it, the Graptoveria Opalina. And yeah, I first saw this as a plant that is being used by Mom Laura Eubanks on her landscape arrangements, the Graptoveria Opalina. She describes it as a nice period to a sentence, like it's on the edge of her arrangement, the one of the last things that she adds, and it really nice. It really adds that nice like finishing to an arrangement. So the Graptoveria Opalina, and this one is a large succulent. If you have the space for it, you can make it grow really large. And yeah, we have that, a really nice stunner. Okay, so finally we're gonna move on to our last one, which I think is the most special of all the Graptoverias that I have here because it's the one that is very unique. And this is Graptoveria Aravind Gem. Aravind Gem. Okay, so we have that, really nice. And you see it's kind of like, yeah, it kind of looks like a Graptopetalum if you take away the colors of the plant. Yeah, but also it has some influence on the Echeveria side, so it's really unique. It's not a fully not a full Echeveria looking like succulent, but also it's not a very Graptopetalumish looking succulent. It's like a perfect balance between the two. It's not a very Echeveria looking one, but also not a very Graptopetalum looking like one, because this one doesn't have a lot of farina, but it has that nice margins to the side of the leaves right there. Really interesting, and it has that nice like colors to it that is like brownish, reddish, green. It's hard to describe for me. Yeah, I'm colorblind, but the new growth at the center is green, and once it matures, it gets these like dots to it. That is an inherited trait from the Purpusorum, okay, because one of its parents is a Purpusorum. And yeah, we got that nice margins as well, so we got some lines at the underside of the leaves and of the edges of the leaves. So that's also kind of similar with the Amethorum. And the difference with this one, the Amethorum is a cross with an Amethysinum and a Purpusorum, while the Aravind Gem is a cross with a Paraguayense and a Purpusorum. So they're already different that way. They came from different Graptopetalums, but the same Echeveria parents, same Purpusorum. And with this one, it got the nice larger leaves from the Paraguayense and the pointed leaves from the Purpusorum. It's really gotten pointed, like it's already shaped like a lance. the leaves on this one. Well, this one, because of the Amethysinum, it has really fat leaves, but it has the compact shape of a Purpusorum, because Purpusorum Echeverias are very compact. So yeah, that's two of different Purpusorum hybrids that I have crossed with Graptopetalums, and I really like these ones. They're very unique. They add that really nice change of interest in your garden, because if you look at my succulents right here, okay, look at my Echeverias, sometimes they will get monotonous, they look the same, but when you have this at the center, you add some diversity to the plants that you have. And yeah, so far this Aravind Gem hasn't given me a lot of trouble. This is my first time trying out this succulent, and I'm not hoping the best on my first time succulent. Sometimes I will buy a succulent and I will go through two types. I will kill two plants of the same type. Same type. So I will kill two plants of it before I will master it, before I will say that I can grow it confidently. So sometimes that happens with me with a lot of different varieties. I will usually kill them twice. But with this one, this is my first time trying it out, and it has performed really nicely with me. I think I watered it very rarely. I don't water it too much. It's one that stays firm for a very long time, just like a Purpusorum would be. Purpusorums are like that. They don't crave attention. They actually like it if you neglect them a little more, if you don't give them much attention, because if you water them too much, they will rot. They're very slow growing. And I think that's also true with the Aravind Gem. It's one that can tolerate a little bit of neglect. You don't have to watch over it too much. And yeah, the leaves on this one have stayed firm. Okay, it doesn't wrinkle up too much, okay, compared with Amethorum. Okay, probably because that one has some rooting issues, but this one hasn't done that. Okay, probably because of the nice balanced potty mix that I planted it in, so it has rooted nicely. I think I can see it's rooted in. Okay, yeah, you can see that it's firmly on there, so that means the plant has rooted in. Okay, so hopefully, yeah, we can see much more growth on this one. I will just be patiently waiting for it to become thirsty before I water it, so you can check the thirstiness of the plant like that. Like if you can move them up. So this one is still kind of firm for my senses. Okay, it's still firm, so I will not be watering this one yet. So yeah, that's you can really feel the plant. You can really feel the plant. That's what I'm trying to say. You can feel the plant if it's getting thirsty, if it's no longer firm. So you just have to tune your senses to the thickness of your succulents. That way you can tell if they are already thirsty. Especially with this thick Graptopetalum, sometimes I will not water them very quickly because I'm afraid of getting rot on them. You can pretty much tell with the Amethysinum that I have right now that is already not looking good, that I'm already very careful with my thick leaf succulents. So yeah, so I'm just gonna be patient with this one, but I'm confident that the plants that I've shown to you right now will be much more better looking in the months that will follow, and probably we will propagate these ones. They're also very easy to propagate. Their leaves pop very quickly, so yeah, probably we can sell those later on. Yeah, so I think that's about it for my collection of Graptoverias. Okay, these are all Graptoverias. So if you really like the succulents that I showed to you, you can check them out on our local sellers. All of the plants that I've shown to you are propagated by local sellers. They didn't come from overseas, like the Aravind Gem. I will be probably posting the seller on the description or on the comment section. If somebody asks, I will probably comment the seller of this plant. But I think that's about it for this video. If you really like those, please make sure to hit the thumbs up and also subscribe if you haven't already. Share this video with your other plant loving friends, okay, with your other plantitas, plantitos that you know about, and if they're interested with these ones, so we can all probably share this video with them so that we can get more views here on our channel. Yeah, and I think that's about it for this video, guys. I will see you on the next one. Bye bye.